dusty summer night. Alright, I'm coming back. Finally! And this time, it is not rusty. That's, I believe, next. It's actually Sadie the acoustic guitar. So, here we go. Alright, so this is an Atkin OM37, created in 2021. Get situated here. It's a nice case. Came with the guitar. It does say, anxiety is through the roof right now. It does say Atkin on the front. Just a pretty standard case otherwise. Yeah, I lied to you. I forgot the order of my own guitars.
There's no strategy. I have no strategy. There's zero strategy.
Anyway, let's get into it. This guitar was made in 2021. This is model number 1864 out of Atkin's Boutique Guitar Factory in Canterbury, England. All right, so when I had bought Candy, it was July of 2021, and I purchased this January 25th of 2022. What the road was between then and actually purchasing this was I knew that after all these electric guitar additions, I really wanted a new acoustic. Marty had cracked. That was my negligence. I believe you can find more about that in the Marty video. Basically just a humidity issue. I knew that I really wanted a very high level acoustic. Marty was very good for the cost, but it was not necessarily like an end game acoustic. This is something where I just don't know if it gets any better than this. Anyway, I had decided that I really wanted an acoustic as my next guitar purchase to really get something. Marty is an X series, but it's more so like an orchestra model or a 0018 size, and I really liked that size. I really like the sound. It's not too thin like a single O or parlor guitar, but it's not too big, too boomy. I definitely like sound more of dreadnoughts, but I feel like I'm playing them like this and my elbow hurts. So this is like the perfect size and sound combination. So I knew I wanted it to be an orchestra model. I don't really like cutaways, so I knew it wanted to be the symmetrical body. So I believe how this story starts would be in August of 2021. I went with Jessie to go back to her hometown, which is in Massachusetts, and then we took a trip out to Boston, and we went to the Music Emporium out in Boston, and they had a couple really, really nice guitars there that I played. One with being a Les Paul with the Peter Green inverted phase humbuckers, and they had this Collings guitar there. I want to say it was a Dreadnought. I don't think I have a picture of it, but it was just absolutely gorgeous. And I really wish I could play it again and just kind of compare it again. And it was like, wow, that is what an acoustic should feel and should sound like. So Collings was a front runner in my mind for my next guitar purchase. And I knew one other place to try them out and to buy them, which would have been the Chicago Music Exchange, which I've been to several times. So fast forward a couple months. Hey, one quick thing too that I forgot to mention in the original video was in September, just like a month after coming back from that trip, there was a 1967 0018 Martin at my local guitar center. That was so tempting, and it was only like $3,200. It wasn't quite perfect, but in my memory, it was really good. Just something about it, I just couldn't pull the trigger on it. I don't remember really why. Probably just like a pricing thing, just dropping all that money. Back to the video. So fast forward a couple months, and I go and I'm back home. In my mind, I'm like, maybe I should really get a Collings, start to do some research on Collings and other guitar manufacturers. This manufacturer out of North Carolina came up, the pre-war guitars, and they wanted a lot of money up front. I think it was like $4,000 to $6,000 for a guitar, and the waiting period was like 26 to 28 months. And my head is just spinning like, I don't have that money and I don't have that time. So I went into the Chicago Music Exchange to play some Collings guitars, see if they kind of lived up to what I remembered out in Boston at the Music Emporium. And the sales guy said, well, have you ever heard of Atkin guitars? And I said, no. So he brought one over, and it was an OM37. It was a natural finish, so it was just, the typical wood color. And I played it, and I was just blown away. It just had, beautiful sound and feel. And it was $4,200. And I was like, in a way, it wasn't the most expensive, but I was like, yeah, that's a lot of money. That would be the most expensive guitar I've ever purchased. And I thought Candy was absolutely insane of a purchase. And so I played that guitar as long as I could, and I left the store. It was a Tuesday. I think it was early November. But I kind of asked about pricing and anything like that. Sometimes stuff is negotiable, like Candy. And they said, no, the next guitars that they have are fully purchased, and, we even have 2 more that are coming, and those are already fully paid for, fully purchased. Like, it's the sticker price or nothing. And I was a little bit taken aback. It wasn't that I was opposed to paying it. It's just more of like, I didn't really like the sales tactic of pay up front or no guitar. So I left that day a little bit put off by the salesperson, but also very turned on by the guitar.
What do you mean by that?
So over the next couple months, I did a lot of research on guitars, and I actually talked to somebody else before I left and said, hey, if any of these come in that aren't fully paid for and they're actually just showroom pieces, I would love to play one again. So I found somebody else, and He took down my number. A couple months go by, actually, and I must have been researching all the time and just looking up any videos I could of Atkin guitar, followed them on Instagram, all that stuff, right? And I get a call this one Friday morning, probably about 10:30 in the morning, and I just started work. And I was hesitating to answer, but it was a local area code, and even still I don't normally answer, but I did. And he goes, hey, this is Josh at CME. One of the Atkin OM37s came in. You said to give you a call when they came in if you wanted to try one. And I said, yeah, that's great. I thought they were all purchased for like a long time and stuff. He goes, no, this one's going on in the showroom, but I wanted to give you a call first in case you wanted to come in and play it. He goes, I gotta warn you though, this one's not the natural color like you asked for. This one's got like a shaded top. This one's like a sunburst. And I said, okay, well, I was just really looking for the natural top. I'll come in and I'll play it just to see what it sounds like, just see if the quality control is really good or if I just played a guitar that was really good. The one that I played in November was serial number 1799, and this one is 1864. And I before I hung up, I said, I really want to come in. That's really nice of you. I just won't be able to get in until Tuesday. Today's Friday. There just won't be a chance. You're not open at the hours that I'm available. He goes, that's fine. I'll put it in the back. We'll hold it for you. I said, really? And he goes, yeah, you waited a long time. It's been months. And I was so impressed by how well he remembered that and knew that. Maybe he took notes. I don't know. So I go in on Tuesday and I look him in the eye. First thing I tell him, I said, I am not buying a guitar today. And he goes, that's fine. You just came in to play it. I just want to, show you. And I said, yeah, you're right. I've been looking at the website. I've been looking at the pictures of it. I was like, the sunburst, I don't like it as much as the natural top, but we'll see. So then he goes up in the back, he brings out the guitar, and my jaw is just like on the floor. I was like, that guitar is absolutely beautiful. Like on a dime, I saw this thing not in a picture, and I don't know what it was, but I was just floored. I was like, this thing is beautiful. And so almost right away, I was like, yeah, this is prettier than a natural finish, this sunburst. And I like that it's not all filled in here. I like that it's just kind of like a vignette style. So he handed it to me. I'm like right in the front of their acoustic room, kind of like where the picture of me and the Martin had taken place. And I just sit down and I play it. And I love these snowflake inlays that it has. And I was like, oh my God, this might actually be better feeling and sounding than the other one that I played in November. And so little by little, I'm like, maybe Mr. Tough Guy not buying a guitar today is actually gonna lose. And I just played it over and over and over again, and I talked to him about financing options, and I was able to open a financing card with CME, and that actually, once I thought about it and made it, Candy taught me about financing a little bit, and I was a little bit probably still cocky from buying Candy and paying it off so quickly. I was like, yeah, I can do that. So the payment came out to $193 a month after I put the rest down, and I paid $250 a month, but I paid it for about 18 months. Like I paid off this guitar for a long time, and that really was, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm really sick of paying for this. I should have just paid more up front, or just been in a position where I could pay more up front before I, got all trigger happy with buying all these guitars. So lesson learned again. I walked out of Guitar Center that day with Sadie after swearing I would not buy it because I knew that as soon as it hit the showroom, it was going to get sold. They still were very much in demand. Now, since that I've gone, I think everybody that's really wanted one / can afford one so quickly has gotten their fix because there's more models that are staying on the showroom. Mostly, I think it's like the J47 or J43, I forget what they call them. They're lovely guitars. I just don't think they're as popular as like a general dreadnought or especially an orchestra model. However, I don't see a lot of orchestra models being stocked and staying on the showroom, at least as of a year ago when I was going there, more often than I probably should have. So I felt pretty good about picking up the guitar that day. When I got home, I Ubered home and I walked up the stairs and Jessie goes, busted. And I was like, she goes, what'd you buy? And I made a little fun clip just that day showing her what it was and kind of talking through the camera. I might blip up a little clip. I'm going to look completely different. There's so many reasons for that. But anyway, I was so excited and I was very happy with my purchase.
I like that color a lot.
I know. And because they had one basically the same thing. And I was like, this has way more color and character to it. And I love, this is called herringbone binding. Mm-hmm. It's meant to be like a herring fish, like its skeleton. That's like how it gets its name, is its skeleton looks like that.
Cool.
And I was looking at like the binding it like perfectly in the middle, And this is really, really coveted because it's really hard to get right. This stuff is really hard to bend. So they kind of have to like break it off into pieces. They bend it.
How do you make those turns? You take one strip at a time and it bends with impunity.
If you took herringbone straight off the shelf and tried to bend it around a tight curve, you're going to get this. It's not going to make it. So what you do, according to Fred, is separate these layers when you get it right up to the horn, The black fiber on the outside, both strips will peel away, leaving the fishbone. And then, as Fred said, it will bend with impunity.
There's like no marks on it.
Yeah, there's these. I believe that is from me already.
Oh my god.
So I asked the sales associate, his name was Josh, super helpful. And I said, how many customers played this? And he goes, just me. And he goes, I only played with my fingers. So he goes, that was probably you.
Wait, so it's like brand new?
Yeah.
Oh.
No one's ever played this before other than the sales associate that helped me. He also owns an Atkin and it's like one of his favorite guitars. The other associate owns like 3 or 4. He said it's not necessarily objectively the best. That's obviously a subjective opinion anyway. But he goes, they are my favorite brand because of how consistently high quality they are. You get like that E. You can hit it pretty hard and it's loud, but it's not boomy and bassy, but it's not tinny and weak. It's like everything. You can hear all those strings equally, and it is the most balanced guitar model I've ever played. Still am very happy. A lot of times when I write songs, they start here, and a lot of the songs that I've written actually start and end here. It's just me on in my voice memo, it's just me and Sadie. I've only had this guitar for a little more than 2 years, and it has seen so much of me. Songwriting wise, musically, yeah, it's a very special guitar to me. So that is essentially it on its acquisition. It took me a couple tries here and there, a lot of waiting, a lot of heartbreak over other guitars. And what's funny is the 1799 serial number later came back to Chicago Music Exchange as a used guitar, so I don't know who bought it or why they didn't like it or why they wanted to get rid of it, but that guitar after I bought Sadie came back onto market, and I guess if I hadn't bought it that day I probably would have ended up going for that one. However, I'm very happy that I have this guitar. So I believe now they're in the 2000s. What number exactly I don't know, but Atkin Guitars has been making guitars since 95, and actually within here is 1995 to 2020, the 25th anniversary. Again, this was created in 2021 and purchased in early 2022. But this one is 1864. One other funny little story about the purchasing here is the COA that came within it, kind of like how Candy had the one with the custom shop, was for number 1862, which was also sent to CME, who purchased before this one. This was probably one of the pre-purchased ones. And we noticed it at the store, and I said, hey, this is for not my guitar. I think it's really similar, but it's not my guitar. Oh, okay, thank you. We're going to get that to the other guy, and we'll get you 1864. We just got to reach out, and they'll ship the number to us. Okay. And to this day, I still don't have it. I must have reached out to CME so many times, and all right, we'll reach out to Atkin. I don't know who's not following through, if Atkin just hasn't sent it or if they didn't send it to me or both. But I'm like, I kind of want the thing, so I can't go through all the specs with you and be like, it's this, it's this, it's this. But what I do know, as far as specs, it's a Sitka spruce top and it's torrefied, which means that they put the wood in a kiln devoid of oxygen for a couple hours, and it's supposed to like really speed up the aging process. The wood gets aged, but it's not necessarily like an aged looked. That's also somewhat true, and there's a lot of checking actually that's intentionally done, or it's been weathered artificially, but so that, especially in a climate like Chicago, when it's just up and down and the humidity's all over the place, the guitar is going to have a little bit less strain on it going through the seasons than normally. So I've heard stories rather of brand new guitars like Gibsons, and just based on how they were shipped and how they were opened from the climate of, say, Nashville where they were made and Chicago here, that they just check on the spot, or they checked in shipping, and these are brand new guitars. And while personally I don't really mind checking, I actually think it's kind of pretty. Some people would definitely see that as a defect or a reason not to buy the guitar, and or a reason that it must be discounted. And so having it intentionally checked, I think, to me, is almost like weatherproofing it or seasoning it.
First things first, season it. Once you've seasoned them,
I don't see it as a downside. So the torrefication, in theory, also adds a lot to the guitar because it's very light. This is in the low 4 pounds, I believe. By contrast, the 1942 Martin that I played, the 0018 in that picture at CME in 2017, I think that was high 3 pounds. I think it was like 3.5 or 3.11, something like that. So this guitar is incredibly light for a brand new guitar. Some other features, it has, I don't know, you'd call it maybe mother of pearl inlays. I think I got a little speck of my blood there. See my blood, sweat, and tears. Love the pick guard. The snowflake inlays, as alluded to, it's got this beautiful white binding around both sides of the body, as well as here. I forget what this is called, if it's called a flute, I think. I would assume it just reinforces the headstock, but I don't know for sure. The tuners kind of have a little bit of rust. I bought it like that. Got the Atkin headstock, which is very Martin-esque, and the tuners are just pretty standard circle hole tuners. They're not open top. I do love the pick guard. The only thing is kind of weird is there's some pick wear on the pickguard is like some scratches. I didn't do that. I actually purchased it like that, and I know that for a fact that it was like that at the factory, because within one of the marketing TikToks or Instagram reels of Atkin, they're actually playing this guitar. I'll try to bloop that.
We've made this shade top OM37 for the Chicago Music Exchange in their latest batch of guitars. Shade top is what Martin called a sunburst, basically, but they've got a subtle sunburst that goes all around the outside rather than filling in this top area, and I think that looks kind of cool. It's got Indian rosewood back and sides, a Sitka spruce top, it's got the herringbone border, an ivoroid binding, it's got our aged nitro finish, and then all of our 37s have this lovely diamond volute, which I think looks really classy. Yeah, that's a little insight as to what we've been doing this week. There were more guitars. I think we finished maybe 10 this week, and they're off out into the world, so they might be coming to a store near you.
In the video, and you can see just based on how the lighting hits it, that's there. So that was definitely done by somebody at the factory playing it or putting it together or whatever. Does it bother me? Not really. So, it is what it is. But again, another way to tell that the guitar in the video is mine is not only this, but there's these two just pieces in the wood grain. And so you know for sure that the guitar in the video is this one, which I always thought is really cool. So again, model number 1864, model is OM37. There's no, like how Fenders have a piece of wood back here, there's nothing here. I think that's a truss rod cover. There is a truss rod in this guitar, I believe. I don't know how you access it. It's not up there. But one of the cool things about buying a modern guitar that's torrefied, essentially sonically relict, if you will, if that's a term, is it has a lot of the modern styles of bracing, and it has a lot of the modern styles of, say, like a luthier would be able to put together a very well crafted instrument for durability, but sonically it's going to sound and feel old. And so that is where, especially like a custom shop relic, somebody pointed out in the Candy video, hey, just because it's an old guitar doesn't mean it's a good guitar. And I can't agree with that more. When I went to Chicago Music Exchange and I played that 1942 Martin, the 0018, it felt so good. Like if that ever comes on the market again, well, first off, it'll probably be twice the price. It was $5,500 7 years ago. And now it would probably be like 8, 9, 10 grand. And I played this 1953 0018, also at CME, a little bit later. And this thing was just, it was a dog. It felt terrible. It was there for a really long time. So I could tell that I wasn't the only one that thought this guitar was not great. It was even cheaper than the 42. It was $3,500. So it was significantly cheaper. And it was at the store for like years. I don't think it's there anymore. I think it's sold. But it just felt tight. It felt stiff. It just didn't feel like it wanted to be a guitar. That's the best way I can put it. And so this guitar, even though it's modern, it sounds incredible. I love the look of it. The name Sadie came from it's a shaded top. Shady, Sadie. I had trouble coming up with the name. I think that's a stupid way to come up with the name, but be that as it may, I think Sadie's a really fitting name for this guitar. So that is going to be the story behind Sadie. It's a little bit of a deep dive into its features as best I can. But yeah, let me know what you think. Have you ever heard of Atkin guitars? And they've been starting to make more and more guitars for some bigger and bigger names. If you've ever seen Justin Hawkins Rides Again, his YouTube channel, he plays an Atkin. I believe that's one of the J47 models. They advertise that they've made a custom model or a couple customs for Ed Sheeran, amongst some other names. So I think they're almost this brand of like, if you know, you know. And they might blow up at some point. Somebody that you know might be playing them just secretly. And at the time of purchasing this, the advantage that they had over like pre-order guitars is, again, the cost was a little bit better, but not much. But I couldn't play a pre-order guitar. There were not really in any shops near me. And Collings was able to be compared because they're a boutique manufacturer out of Austin, Texas, I believe. And so the CME had them, but I could, again, shoot it out side by side with an Atkin guitar. At the time of purchasing this, Atkin guitars were only available in 4 different shops in the whole United States. So there's 4 different states. I want to say it was, well, Chicago, of course, Nashville, I think it was Washington, and there was one other state. There were not a lot of places to play them. So if you have a chance, if they're in a store near you, or if you travel to a state or a city that has one, go ahead and play it. You might be surprised. But don't blame me if you are blown away and other acoustics are ruined for you. So have you ever heard of torrefied wood? Because I hadn't. And would you buy something that's sonically relict? I don't know. Let's start another debate in the comments. I hope you enjoy the song. I hope that this inspires you to either go play your acoustic or electric, or to save up for the guitar that you really, really want. Thanks so much for all the new subscribers. I can't believe all the people that are tuning in and watching and commenting. Thank you so much. Let me know your thoughts. The ring and the sustain are amazing. Alright, without further ado, this song is called Summer Nights. I wrote this about 2 years ago. Absolutely love this song. Wrote it on this guitar on the couch over there in like 15 or 30 minutes. I don't know. There was just something in the water that night. Let's do it. Oh, we went out late and we hit the town. Guess you could say that some shit went down. Got caught up and I broke the law. Cops will be probably kicking down my door. Oh no. Oh yeah. 'Cause I'm not yet sure how I'll explain this one to everyone that I know and love. It's not as stupid as it sounds. Just got high and I couldn't come down, no, no. Oh yeah. Oh, just these summer nights when we're drunk and fucked up under the city light, and the cars pass by. They know we're feeling alright. Shut up, then none can go home. 'Cause if the party's done, then I'm all alone. Yeah, Monday morning I got no sleep. I'm not sure how you make that look so easy. We got the photos and the memories too. Hang them up and I'll tell you a funny story from the night before, when I swear I was on God's front door. Oh no. Oh yeah. Oh, just these summer nights when we're drunk and fucked up under the city light, and the cars that pass by, they know we're feeling alright. 'Cause we won't shut up, and no, we can't go home. 'Cause if the party is done, then I'm all alone. Oh, just these summer nights when we're drunk and fucked up and under the city lights, and the cars that pass by, they know we're feeling alright. 'Cause we won't shut up. No, we can't go home. Oh, just a summer night when we're drunk and fucked up that was Summer Nights. Hope you liked it. Man, I played that song a lot over the last 2 years, usually just to myself, and so it feels really good to record that.